hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. This is your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. We hold Night School where we break down the most controversial subjects, the most engaged debates, the most interesting topics going on in the world today. And tonight is no different. I'm going to shout out everybody who's writing in from all over the world. We got people like Henry writing in from DC. We got Jonathan Curtis, who just joined the fam. Of course, Pink Highlighter, I love your new name. Thank you for joining us as always. Everybody drop in your name, your city, your state, your country, because again, this is a global classroom. Let us know where you're writing in from. Shout out to you, Michael Bayan. Shout out to you, Junior Ali in Ohio. For those that don't know, as always, Dallas's finest Jazz LP is present and accounted for. San Diego is sending love. I am Jamal. Michael is coming in from Kalamazoo, all the way from the zoo. Somebody said new camera looking good. It's funny. I ain't got a new camera. Some days, man, anyway, I tell you some tech issues we have, but it ain't got nothing to do with the camera. Everybody used to always think I had a bad camera. I never had a bad camera. Same camera I've had for the last forever. But anyway, appreciate the shout, Venetia. Like it. Like you for the shout out. Yusuf93 coming in from Boston, the mean streets of Boston. More importantly, he's got that wonderful Philistine shirt on. Shout out to you and Philistine. Hoda ihtilal. Barra Maurice say he ain't caught alive in a while. Well, thank you for coming through. Shaker Heights in the building. Ifiolu Clay Tor, who's also one of Diggs' boys. He in the building. Sam Q from Fort Lauderdale here. All right, y'all. Enough shouts out. One more, J Abs coming in from Miami. I appreciate you. We love y'all all over the globe, including Brooklyn, New York, from Newport News, VA. Love you, love you, love you. Let's get started. There's a couple things I want to talk about. We're not going to be here long, but we're going to be here with some substance. I want to address a few things. I'm writing something for y'all now. You'll see what it is in a minute. You'll understand. You'll understand when you understand. Anyway, shout out to everybody. When Jillian Michaels becomes a political pundit, someone else said, Big Elmira in the building. Someone said, debate Nick Fuentes. No interest in debating white supremacists. Jay Frank from the Psi chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. That is the University of Minnesota, Minneapolis, if I remember correctly. I know my single letter chapters. That's right. We had to know them when I was online, but that's a whole other conversation for another time. Let's get to it. I also want to shout out Descendant for dropping in a membership. Somebody grab that membership. It's a free membership. It's a gift to the channel. Karen D asked me to talk about Amanda on Surrounded. Amanda Seals went on the show Surrounded on, I guess that's Jubilee or Jubilee Surrounded. I don't know. But she was debating 20 knucklehead conservatives. And she bodied them. Shout out to Amanda Seals. She bodied them. She ate in every way imaginable. Some people are saying they want me to do it. Combat just asked, can we get Darker My Hill on 20v1 Jubilee? I don't know. My first answer is no, but I don't want to say like I'll never do it. Then y'all see me on there and call me a hypocrite. But I can't. I don't desire to do it. I'll say that. I don't want to be a part of the show for a couple of logistical reasons, and just I don't know if I'm in the headspace to debate right now. When I watch Amanda do such a great job, when I watch Mehdi Hassan do such a great job, I'm like, I don't want to be the dude that drops the ball. So, they killed it. Let them kill it. Other people can kill it. I just don't know if it's me right now. So no, I don't know, Michael. I don't know if I would do that. Jazz LP knows me. My eyes are tight. I'm not falling asleep or anything like that, but I am tired. And I have a funeral to attend tomorrow. One of my closest friends, one of my best friends since 6th grade, passed away 2 weeks ago. And the funeral is tomorrow in Philadelphia. And I have to drive there, but I also have to get myself in a mental space, a headspace, to bury someone, and I'm not ready to say goodbye. I'm not ready to. I'm not ready. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about y'all boy Donald Trump, man. He's the gift that always keeps on giving. President Trump is once again testing the limits of international law. The U.S. is deploying 3 guided missile destroyers to waters off of Venezuela, saying it's part of a campaign against Latin American cartels. But critics see it differently. They argue that the move looks more like a military provocation, and the move sort of echoes the Bush administration's early steps before the invasion of Iraq. The USS Gravely, Jason Dunham and Sampson will patrol the Caribbean for months. Now, Trump has labeled Venezuela's Tren de Aragua and Mexico's cartels to be terrorist organizations, a legal stretch, according to experts. And it's a stretch that experts say is designed to justify the military action that we're seeing and that we will see. Now, international legal scholars warn that it's a violation of sovereignty and that it risks setting a dangerous precedent, not just for what happens inside the U.S., but more acutely for the U.S.'s aggression abroad. Now, in Caracas, President Nicolas Maduro called deployment imperialist aggression, not an uncommon phrase in Latin America about the United States, and an appropriate one. Maduro mobilized 4.5 million civilian militias and banned drones in Venezuelan airspace. Now, he remains under U.S. indictment on narco-terrorism charges, with the White House offering a $50 million bounty. I'm going to say that number again, 50 million, $50 million bounty for his capture. Meanwhile, Mexico's president, Claudia Sheinbaum, has drawn a hard line in the sand, rejecting Trump's push for joint operations against cartels as an infringement on national sovereignty. Again, an interesting question. Joint operations is not inherently problematic. Fighting against cartels is not inherently problematic. But when you start over emphasizing U.S. power and over enforcing U.S. power at the expense of Mexican sovereignty, then you end up with exactly what President Sheinbaum is talking about. Now, for critics, the bigger concern is not what's now, but what comes next. Whether Trump is laying the groundwork for a unilateral invention in Latin America, and whether or not it'll be under the same playbook that was once used to justify the illegal invasion of Iraq. So much mess out here, man. So much trouble in the world. All right, let's get to the next story. And this next story is interesting for me too, for a different reason. In Austin, Texas, Democrats are making a late night stand. No, not against their militaristic, neoliberal, warmongering colleagues in the Democratic Party. That'd be nice, but it's unlikely. Nope. Democrats in Austin, Texas are making a late night stand against Republicans and their redistricting plans. 8 Democratic lawmakers returned to the State House tonight. That's when I say tonight, I mean Tuesday, tearing up the so-called permission slips that Republicans are requiring, I should say, in order to leave the chamber. Now, they joined Representative Nicole Collier, who has spent more than a day inside the chamber after refusing to sign the GOP's security conditions. Republican leaders issued civil arrest warrants for Democrats. I'm going to say that again. Republican leaders issued civil arrest warrants. These are the kinds of things I'll talk about. Anyway, we'll talk about later. I'll talk about gang injunctions. I talked about sorts of civil penalties. But this is for Democrats who fled the state early this month to block the vote. Now, returning lawmakers say the GOP's demand for round-the-clock security escorts is an intimidation tactic and a waste of taxpayer money, especially after recent floods. They killed more than 100 people in the Hill country. But the protest, turns out it might just be symbolic. With Democrats back in Austin, Republicans have the votes that they need. This is the tricky part. They have the votes that they need to push through new maps that could lock in their majority, and more dangerously, it could flip up to 5 U.S. House seats in the upcoming elections. This is a mess. And Republicans are devious and Democrats are spineless. And this combination leads to outcomes like this. That's all that I'm going to say about that. Got one more story, then I'm going to leave y'all alone. Man, I told you it's going to be a short night tonight. And this is about men in Senegal. In Senegal, imams are prayer leaders, leader of the mosque, or aima, I guess the proper term. Imams are now telling men to step up at home. I'm telling you, y'all gonna love this. In Senegal, imams are now telling men to step up at home, from washing babies to actually taking wives to the hospital. Wow, washing your own baby. Anyway, a UN-backed school for husbands, I love it, is flipping the script on patriarchy, teaching men that real manhood means protecting women's health. For years, women needed permission just to see a doctor plan or plan a pregnancy. Now, some husbands are becoming allies rather than gatekeepers. Supporters, on the other hand, say that this could help cut maternal deaths. It could help cut infant mortality, both of which remain far too high. I think the idea of those reasons, maternal deaths, infant mortality, those are good reasons. But I think fundamentally we should be doing it because it's the right thing to do. This isn't some abstract thinking. This isn't pie in the sky and a great by and by. I'm saying right now we need to train husbands to do more, and we need to train boys to do more. If we do that, then these other things work themselves out. It's about learning new models and possibilities of what manhood can look like. That's my take. Anyway, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Stay right here for night school. Tomorrow night, I think we'll have a couple special guests. We'll talk through R&B. We'll talk through the latest in politics. And we'll do it all right here. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you're so inclined, hit the join button. Otherwise, hasta mañana.